Are you struggling to really connect with your true purpose? You know, that passion that really aligns you with your mission and purpose. If you are, then you want to stay tuned to this next episode of La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living, where my guest shares his formula, his philosophy for being happy and finding your purpose and getting clear on what inspires you the most. So stay tuned. Frankie Lee, dimmi, qual è senso della vita?
The meaning of life is to live la dolce vita, which is the formula for fabulous living.
Hi, my name is Heather Picken, and welcome to the La Dolce Vita Show, the formula for fabulous living. I'm the catalyst in helping you to be more confident, create your dream business, and attract elite clients and live a fabulous life. Here's Heather helping you to upgrade your life to
fabulous. Upgrade your life to fabulous. Right, Frankie? You're fabulous.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of La Dolce Vita, the formula for fabulous living. There is a formula for your success in your business in every single area of your life. And I invite people all around the world to share their formula, whatever that formula is, and how they've connected to their passion and their purpose. And today, my guest, actually, I have a fabulous man today. Usually I interview a lot of women, but David Lee, and I was just kind of looking at your bio, David. You have a really interesting journey. You created the first ever voice box for the Chatty Cathy doll in 1959. So that's pretty cool. And then you have a book called The Happiness Handbook, The Art of Beneficial Change, addressing your greatest passion. So we're going to be talking about that, David. First off, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
And I always like to find someone's story because obviously, your story, who you are, has evolved, over the years. And then you wrote this book. So if you could take us back to just kind of paraphrase a little bit about how you arrived at where you're at today, like how your passion and what you were really excited about, like what were those kind of like defining moments for you?
Okay, that's not an easy one to answer. I'll do my best. Let us say that I was born into a very crazy family. And I had, aren't we all? Yeah. But there is one thing that was pure luck, and that is that I knew I didn't have to be like them. I was born with that. So starting from there, they tell me, now I don't remember this, that I was an impossible baby. I wouldn't let anybody pick me up or touch me, that I'd scream bloody murder if they tried. And I know now what it was. I just didn't like them. Now, I know I was a miserable child because I could remember that. And sometimes I suspected that my parents weren't exactly happy that they'd even decided to have a child. But it took me a while to figure out that I was able to change my life. And what had to happen was that I had enough people let me know one way or another that they didn't like me. And then sudden realization, I didn't like me. I was stuck in this body and mind of somebody I really disliked. And that's when I started seeing the shrink, going to groups, reading, doing everything I could to have a better life. And that is the first step, of course, if you really want to change, is to understand that you need to change. That if you want a better, happier life, You're going to make some changes. You're going to do something. What I did was I started seeing, at one time I was seeing psychologists, psychiatrists, going to group therapy. I got a lot of very bad information. I got a lot of good information. And gradually I wormed my way through to the point where here I am working as an engineer, and seemed like I was designing these wonderful machines, but they all, after a while, it seemed like same old, same old. I said, hey, look, you've been seeing these shrinks. They're having a lot of fun. Become one. So I did. I went back to school. Here I am, 40, 45 years old. Go back to University of Southern California, take a course in consular education, get a license, open a practice in Beverly Hills, and start seeing clients. Well, that's where I really learned. That's what I found the most incredibly beneficial, is that my clients were helping me as much as I was helping them.
I love that. I think it's so interesting. Let's go back to your story, because I think this is going to help a lot of women that are listening. A lot of times they might be in a situation with their business or in their life that they feel that they cannot change. And I love what William James said. He's a famous therapist. And he said, you know, we have a remarkable ability to change our perceptions as human beings. And I think a lot of times what happens is we feel we get locked into this holding pattern that we can't change. But to me, it's all about your perspective and how you're choosing. You know, it's a choice to change. You can stay stuck in your thinking, or you can also change. So you basically evolved yourself. You got into your practice and helping clients, and then they're kind of helping you. So what would you say to someone right now that is, and let's just use this in the context of business, that is struggling in their business, and they keep focusing on what they don't want in their business? So a lot of times what happens is that they need more clients, they need to generate more cash flow. So if we're just talking about the mindset, what single piece of advice would you share with them?
Step outside the box.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm going to give you first of all, we're all stuck in stasis, a static system. If it's a family, everyone's playing off each other. If it's a business, it's a family, and probably a dysfunctional one. Everybody has their role. Everybody knows what to expect from the others. Everyone knows how to behave in a given situation. And this is very difficult to break into. But all you need to do is make a fairly significant change in one behavior anywhere in this loop, and suddenly everything has to readjust. So whatever situation you are in, you have the power to alter something. It doesn't matter
Absolutely.
what it is. Something. Pick something that will give you pleasure. Is there something you really like to do? Do more of it. Is there something you have wanted to do but have put it off and put it off? Start doing it now. Is there someone in your life who challenges you, who you can say, this person's going to be honest with you? Go to them and say, what do you think? What should I do? Any advice? Anything at all. I'm going to give you an example. A friend of mine, a very close friend, is in an impossible situation. Miserable marriage, unfortunate family. I'm not going to go into any details, but it's a mess. Everything about it is a mess. The house is a mess. Everything. And so I say to him, find a friend on the outside. Make a new friend. Now, you could say to me, what difference is it going to make if this man has a friend on the outside? And I'll say, I don't know. But it will change the dynamic. Just whatever, change the dynamic.
Absolutely. Just, those simple steps that someone can take in order to change their mind around. And I like what you were saying earlier about uh, finding your passion, doing something that you like. Because if you're looking at the online world, a lot of times what I find happens is that people get trapped in the noise. They look at someone else, they get into comparison mode, and they say, you know what? I need to market like that person. I need to package my business like that. But in reality, they're really not being authentic to themselves. And I think it's really important to kind of go within yourself to ask yourself, and you said, you know, what is it that I really love to do? And, you know, be quiet about it. Maybe ask, like you said, ask for someone else's opinion that you feel you can trust. Because I think the danger sometimes in asking people's opinions, everyone's going to have an opinion. You know, the thing is, do they really know you to give you, you know, that advice, right? So I think there's kind of like a fine line. But you know, what would you say, you know, with things going and growing so fast today with technology, that people do get overwhelmed to kind of find out, you know, find their groove and find their passion. So what would you say as far as not being so distracted by the quote unquote noise?
That's a difficult one. I meditate. Do you meditate?
I do. I find it
Hello.
just slows down my mind, and then I can, you know, turn off that chatter.
That's the first step. Find things that give you peace of mind, that feel good in your heart. Maybe, and it's different for everyone. You see, that's what makes it both difficult and interesting, is we're all individual. So for one person, what makes them feel good would be anathema to another. I wouldn't do that for the world.
Well, you know, because some people have hard time meditating. So one
Yes.
of the things that I actually teach my clients is I have them immerse themselves in like videos. I called it my mind immersion technique, where they're watching videos until they shift it. And actually it helps, but you've got to quiet your mind, because, you know, you can't change if you keep focusing on the problem. You've got to do something that is, you know, in alignment with you, something that's going to slow your mind down to stop, you know, focusing on the problem and find a solution.
So I say meditate, but maybe somebody else, they can't meditate. How difficult was it to learn to meditate? How long did it take you before you could achieve that state of mindlessness? Difficult,
Yeah.
not for
Yeah.
everybody. So,
For me, I think it took a long time because I didn't understand. There was all these rules, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it in the way that I feel most aligned with.
so the key is that everyone has to design their own path. But we have it within our power to decide which way to go. When I divorced my first wife, I've had 3 wives. I finally have learned out. This marriage is wonderful. It's been 25 years. It took me a while to find out how to do it. Same with my wife. I'm a 4th husband. And we're happy, and we're both crazy as hell. And we are both difficult people. But we have learned to accommodate to this, and it's strictly individual. What works for us would not work for other people. Everyone has to find their own way. So it's a question of setting up an environment for change. Within ordinary lives, change is impossible. After I divorced my first wife, I knew she was extremely unhappy. I said to her, "Would you like to go into therapy? I will pay for it." And she said, "No." I said, "Why?" And she said, "Because it would be very painful, and I know I could be a lot happier, but I'm okay with the way I am, and I want to stay this way." And that is most people. Given the prospect of change, they will say no. Jean-Paul Sartre, no exit, must see it. 3 people locked in a room together, and they play off each other, making each other miserable. Just absolutely miserable. Toward the end of the play, a door opens at the back of the room, and they can go out if they want. They stay. They prefer the known misery to the risk of change, and we get that way.
And that's why I think it's great to be an entrepreneur, because it's all about taking risk. Some of the things work, some of the things don't, but you've got to have thick skin. I know when I started my journey, started out in the fitness field, I had no idea how to get clients. I was freaking out all over my head, but I was relentless in my pursuit of creating something that evolved into my business today. And I have a global presence online. And I always, when I'm talking to women, I always say, listen, this is not easy. You've got to be able to embrace both sides, the pain and the pleasure of the pursuit of doing something worthy. So David, now that they found the passion, they're clear on what they need to do. And then of course, if they're feeling in their head, you recommend meditating. What are some of the other things that you find are helpful practices, in the daily life of an entrepreneur?
My site is called truefortunes.com. Anyone who wants to make constructive change in their life, become happier, do things better, you go to truefortunes.com. It's all there. There's a direct link to my book. It's available on Amazon, Kindle, hard copy. You can go to a link with a whole bunch of recordings. They run from 5 to 10 minutes. It's called audiosuggestions.com. They're free. I'm not charging for this. The book is so inexpensive it might as well be free. I have to charge for it. Otherwise, Amazon would be displeased with me. But
that's awesome.
If anyone here wants to change, go to that website, truefortunes.com. And I'm not charging for this. I'm not interested in making money from it. I'm 87 years old. I can stop saving for my old age.
I love it. I love it. And it just goes to show you, no matter how old you are, I mean, to me, age is a number. It's just how you think about it, that you can change, you can pursue your passion. And we're going to put in the show notes, people that are watching or listening to this, just click on the show notes. All the information will be there for David's book
good.
And his free.
Well, I'm going to make one more offer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Free offer. You go to my website. I think my phone number and my email are on that website. They're certainly in the book. I'm here to talk to anyone who wants to talk to me. I'll listen to you. You ask me for advice, I'll give you advice, which might or might not be worthwhile. Might probably be worthless. What the hell? But you'll have an experience.
I love that. I love that. And again, we'll have that in the show notes. And David, I just want to thank you so much for being my guest today and sharing your expertise and your wisdom, being the young age that you are, because I think we can all learn every step of the way, and evolve ourselves and go after our biggest dreams. Because to me, that's all about what I call living your La Dolce Vita life, which is the sweet life, embracing both sides. So thank you so much, David, again, for being my guest.
Anytime you would like. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And for everyone, again, make sure if you're listening to this show on iTunes, rate, review, and subscribe, because that is how the word gets out. We have about 6,000 downloads every single month, and it's growing. And my mission and purpose is to empower millions of women on this planet to own their truth, own their power, live the La Dolce Vita life, and do something extraordinary. So until next time, this is Heather Picken. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So if you found this show to be fabulous, please share with your fabulous friends, rate, review, and subscribe on YouTube and iTunes. I'll make sure I take a beatbox lesson, right? Or give my little chihuahua a bone. That's me. Fabulous.